for the first matrix, will show it for just, Frank, please pay attention. We'll show it for just 15 seconds. And each matrix is made up of 16 boxes and 4 colors in total. So you have 4 colors of 4 boxes of 4 different colors. And your task is to observe the matrix and then replicate it on your piece of paper. And the replication doesn't mean you just write red, blue, green, yellow. There are 4 colors. So where there's supposed to be red, you put red. Where there's supposed to be green, you put green, and on like that. So the first time we're going to do this, we do it by yourself. So nobody to help you, just an individual effort. And let's see how well we do. And then we'll do it again with another matrix, but this time around with a group and with some planning. And we'll see if we can identify the patterns and if we can succeed better as a group. So once this is, like I said, we're just waiting on so that we get more people in the room, and then we do this very quickly, and then we'll start the main meat of the program. So Frank? So please, you can just draw out the 4 by 4 matrix. So this is going to be up for 15 minutes, 15 seconds. Frank, 15 seconds, please. I didn't say it's up yet, so give us 15 seconds and then take it off. So how many of us were able to complete the matrix? Okay, Frank, show that slide, show it again. Just the first one, show it again, right? Just the first one. Just hold on here. Now let's take time. Okay. Let's all now take time to, this one is gone, another one is coming. So now let's take time to observe the matrix now. And for the next matrix, you're going to work as a group. So the person sitting next to you, you have a minute to study this matrix. There's a pattern that repeats itself in all the matrices. So if you're able to identify the pattern, you should be able to get it much faster. But also you have a group, so decide as a group how you want to identify the next matrix. But the next one, we're going to still have just the same 15 seconds. So if you have the time, discuss amongst yourselves now how you plan to replicate the next. It will be 4 by 4, the same order, 4 by 4, 4 different colors for each of the 4 boxes, and you'll see it again in another order. So when you're ready, we're going to change it in. When I say go, we'll change it, and then you decide amongst yourself. I'm not seeing us discussing. So you have a plan on how you're going to identify it. Whoever is sitting next to you, the task is, another matrix is going to come up. It's going to be up for 15 seconds. And in that time, you have to tell us what color was each box of this 4 by 4 matrix in the next one. Yeah? But you only have 15 seconds. So you have to come up with a plan on how to make up those numbers, how to identify each of the boxes. So if you see a pattern, or if you want somebody to, well, I'm not going to give you the clues. That will be for the last one. So are you ready? Okay. Next, please. Have you changed it? And your 15 seconds starts now. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15. Done. Take it off. You need to take it off. So how many of us are able to complete it? Show of hands. Okay, so a lot more in this side of the room. All right. Okay, so just, if you're able to, show of hands, how many people finished? Okay. So for this last one, yes, there's one more.
Let's see if actually they get it right.
No, it doesn't matter.
Okay.
So now this time, you can't write while I'm showing the matrix. You can't write while I'm showing it. Yes, for the last one. You can't write, but I'll give you the clue. Each of the boxes contains 4 colors, and each of the 4 colors are contained in each quadrant. So as a group, now discuss how well you are going to identify where your colors are without writing or doing anything. Yes, you have to you write it on your piece of paper after the matrix has gone off. No, they have more paper now. So are we clear? All right, let's go. Last one, the third slide. So this is the third one. You can't write, no writing. Just study it amongst yourself. Decide how quickly. So you're supposed to solve the problem as a team, identify the pattern, and one, two, no writing, please. 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. 13, 14, 15. Done. Take it off. Do we have any? So now, can we? There's a prize for who gets this one. All right. So any show of hands, anybody? All right, I think they have it. So Tina, please get them and let's see. I have 3 prizes for who has it right. So Tina, can you collect it, please? Yes, one team, that team, they have it. All right. Okay. So we'll announce the winners later. Good afternoon, everybody, and thank you for attending the 2017 NICE Section Officers Workshop. If you can, please close up the ranks so that we can commence today's activities. Today promises to be a very interactive and engaging session. The objective is for us to come together, learn and share with one another, and take away some things that can help us run our sections better and help us work together as a team. We have a very packed agenda, and we're just going to go ahead and start right away. We are going to have the interactive sessions. Will begin the session, so we'll have a syndicate session, which will then be followed by some talks, and that will be delivered by some of our section officers also present here. So to set the scene for the workshop as well as the syndicate, I would like to invite the Africa Regional Director, Mr. Engineer Yemi Akilao, to. Thank you very much, sir.
Thank you very much, Hamza, for the icebreaker. At least that one kept us awake a little bit. Okay, good afternoon, everyone. I'm delighted to be invited to come and set the scene for this session. So I have some slides that I want to show, but I'll need to just digress a little bit. I want to also understand the audience I'm dealing with. I want to do a short, very short exercise. Do we have anybody above 50 here? One, okay. Do you have anybody between 36 and 49? Between 36 and 49 years, okay. Okay. Who are the real YPs here? The real YPs. Okay, that's fine. So it's a mixed audience. It's a mixed audience. But so we have between 49 and the YPs. Because this is really important. I want to know so that I'll be able to properly direct my talk. Okay, so do we have the... Hello? Okay, good. Okay, so let me just start with a brief introduction about myself. I'm a pensioner. I retired from Chevron in 2014. So 3 years and still counting. I spent 30 years of active service with Texaco. Then after the merger, I went over to Chevron. So June 30, 2014, that was when I finally retired from Chevron. So right now, maybe because I don't have anything doing, and I'm sure Prof is not listening to that, So otherwise, so I'm a student now at Emerald Energy Institute of University of Port Harcourt. I'm going through my PhD studies right now. I just finished the coursework last Saturday, so I'm going through the process of doing the thesis. So in between that, I do some more jobs as a consultant in petroleum economics. So just to keep myself busy, but at the same time, I also volunteer my time for SPE. Okay, so I would like to spend some time on this slide just to kind of I'm sure part of this will come up during the breakout session. Why am I showing this slide? I want to show it so that because we had some discussion yesterday on the big crew change and the millennials and how you want to do things differently. So based on my experience, I would like to share my experience with you on how things have been done, and maybe you can learn one or two things, from there. I started volunteering for SPE from my university days, but actively when I led the university. So I participated as a student liaison chairman and all those things, but I served as secretary of Lagos section. I also served as program chair of Lagos section and the chairman. I was the chairman of Lagos section in 2002. Then at the Nigerian Council, used to be made up of 4 sections: Lagos, Port Harcourt, Warri, and Benin. Then we added Abuja. So I was the council treasurer 2002-2003. I was the technical programs committee chair 2005. Short course committee chair 2006. I went back as TPC chair 2007, vice chairman 2010, and council chairman in 2011. And I've been a board of trustees member from 2012 to date. At the international level, I've served on the section and activities committee and also the production and the operations award committee. So I'm currently the regional director for Africa, and I sit on the board of Society of Petroleum Engineers International. So why did I have to go through all this? The question, okay, we continue to volunteer and we need to ask ourselves questions. So what are we doing really? who are mentors in the whole of this. So when I started, in fact, does anybody know Mr. Igbak Imomo? How many of you know him? Mr. Imomo was the council chairman in 1986. Dr. Arinze Agbim was the conference chairman then. In 1986, I was involved in running the conference that took place in Badagry then, ASCON, in Badagry. So we were the one literally running errands for them in those days, as far back as 1986. Now, 1986, in fact, before 1986, there's Dr. Olumide Phillips, who was the council chair, I think, 1982 or so. Then we were involved. So after 1982, after, behind their shadows, by 1999, Alex Nenye was the council chairman then. Of course, we were also involved. By 2011, I became council chairman. But I've been involved in all this since the 80s, the 90s. So I gathered a lot of experience. So when I became the council chairman, it was very, very easy for me to operate. And now that I'm the regional director, I've been there before, so I know what people have gone through. And so I've expanded my horizon. So in as much as we are talking of the big crew change, and the millennials are in a hurry to take over, we need to just really take our time. So we need to ask ourselves, who are our mentors? Who do we look up to that are really mentoring us, that are really taking us through the process? And SPE itself, we have very, very good structure as at now. You have the BOT members there that you can really rely on, because once you have been a council chairman, after your tenure, you move to the BOT. So you have very good structure there, So what I just want to say here is we're having the big crew change. Some of us are retiring out, but you have a lot of resources that you can rely on to succeed in your volunteering efforts. So please just take very, very good note of that. So, and at the same time, if you want to really serve, make sure that you are really well-grounded and go around the different committees. In fact, I've served in several committees, running the conference. So that's why I want to just, kind of quickly share that particular one with you. So now to the business of the day. We are all volunteering for SPE. Do we know what SPE's mission is? Do we know? Do we bother to really know? Because if you are volunteering for an organization, if you work for an organization, it is expected that you know the vision and the mission of that organization. For example, when I was in Chevron, they say Chevron is that want to be the most admired, the energy company mostly admired for its people, performance, and processes. So we have that one at the back of our mind. So for SPE, the mission is to collect, disseminate, and exchange technical knowledge concerning exploration, development, and production of oil and gas resources and related technologies for the public benefit, and provide opportunities for professionals to enhance their technical and professional competence. Fairly long, but there are several keywords there that we need to take note of. And this mission was developed, I think, 2013, 2014 or so, and we're in the process of revising the mission. So hopefully by next year or so, there'll be a revised one and new strategies. So going on to the next slide, we have the key priorities. These are like our strategies. What are we doing to achieve the mission? We have capacity development, knowledge transfer, promoting professionalism and social responsibility, then public education about petroleum engineering profession. So everything that we do should center around these 4 key priorities. And I'm expecting that when we go into the breakout session, we should be able to address at least 1 or 2 or 3 of these key priority areas. So I'm borrowing this slide from the 2015 president, Helgi Haldarson. And what he said then was, when he made the presentation to us on the board, was that SPE is unique because it's a global non-for-profit organization. It exists for the benefit of its members. Technical content are developed by members. You can imagine how many papers have been presented at this conference. And those papers will be available in One Petro and other technical databases. So we are operating in an organization in which beneficiaries, workers, customers are all the same, SPE members. So your volunteering for SPE is very, very important. In fact, it's the heart of what we do. We rely on members, to volunteer for the different, to work on the different committees, on the different programs for the organization to succeed. So the beauty of the whole thing is you have opportunity to build your network. There are few people that have met, through SPE that are continuing to enjoy, the benefits of meeting with them. So you cannot really quantify the extent to which you can network. It will also affect, it will also help you on your day-to-day businesses. So that is something that you need to really take note of. So you need to ask yourself another question. So how are you adding value to the organization? How are you adding value to yourself? So you need to also continue to ask that question. Okay, so in terms of section leadership development, there is a section officers workshop at SPE ATCE, so you are invited to attend. And of course, when you get there, you are going to meet people. It's an opportunity for you to develop your network. And the other thing that I want to also say here is within the Africa region, we have a total of 14 sections. There are 5 sections in Nigeria. The 5 sections in Nigeria are doing very well. So I will challenge you to also reach out to the other sections, especially the sections in East Africa region. That's Nairobi, Uganda, Dar es Salaam, Maputo, Southern Africa. Reach out and also mentor them, because you are really established. Some of them are struggling. By reaching out to also mentor them, you also develop additional network on that. So that's something that I want you to also consider, during your breakout session. But one, I checked with Hamza before that, okay, what are the key areas that you want to consider? He talked about the leadership development. That is key, because for us to, what we're doing to be, how many minutes have I gone now? Okay, I'll just spend 4 minutes more. Okay, that's fine. So it's very, very important for us to talk about leadership development and succession. For example, SPE International, we know 2017 president, we know 2018 president. And at the last board meeting, the 2019 president was confirmed. So we already know. So they know. 3 years ahead. So as sections, we also need to plan. At the council level, that plan is already on because we know the incoming vice chair, and of course the process for the next one is already on. So we need to really, as sections, ask ourselves, how do we develop the leadership skills to make sure that we have people that will take over in the next few years, from now. So that is something that we need to continue to work on as sections, so that whatever we do at the section level is what we are going to translate to the council. So I look forward to, I'll still be around, and the SPE president promised to come, during our own slot. So I haven't said that. So what I just want to, I've already talked about the section leadership development. So I just want to end on this note that your volunteering work is not unrewarded. So you have opportunity to be recognized by your colleagues at the highest level of the organization. So anytime you run into all these people, I want to call their names, congratulate them. Engineer Annex Ney, I used to be the BOT chairman, and he will be conferred, as a honorary member in October. In Africa region, we have only 3 honorary members. Dr. Emmanuel Buga, Alex Ney, and Mr. Imomo. Those are the 3 honorary members that we have. So so when you see me, congratulate. Distinguished members, we have several distinguished members, right now. We have 2 additional that will be conferred in October. Ajiro Gedegbe, then FM Edit. Public Service Awards, Saka, Matemilola, then the SP president already mentioned that all the 5 sections in Nigeria Council, they for 1 award or the other, 2 for section excellence, and 3 for gold standard. So I think you all deserve a round of applause. All the sections. Now, on the service award, we are not doing well, because we are entitled to, I think 13 awards or so, and year in, year out, we only make the regional service award, the young member standing award, but on the technical discipline, we are not really doing well. Technical discipline, I believe we are supposed to have 5 or 6, but last year we had only 2. This year we have 3. Rita is from I think from Lagos section, or Sazwa. Which section is that? Is that 113? Sorry? It's 661, okay. Elike Mawuli is from Nairobi section. So we need to do more on the technical awards. And I know there are professional members presenting papers, so we need to recognize them. So let's really do more on that. So I think with that, that is it. So I look forward to an interesting session with you. It's an opportunity to be in your midst. This is my 2nd year as the regional director. I have just 1 more year to go. Hopefully by this time next year, I will still be around as the regional director to maybe plan something different. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, sir, for helping set the scene. So, ahead of the section officers workshop, we had sent out a survey to all the sections to identify key areas that they would like to discuss with members of other sections, and identify the key issues and propose solutions or strategies going forward. And so, can I have that slide now, Frank? So the four topics that we'll be looking at today in the snake case sessions are going to come up on the slides just now. You had picked up some numbers from the registration. So if you have number 1, you're in syndicate 1, number 2, syndicate 2, I hope that the randomness of the numbers would ensure that we have a very good mix. But if we don't, we would try to quickly have that going. The syndicate is going to last about 20 minutes. And Frank, can I have my slide, please? So the topics are section membership. For Syndicate 1, you'll be looking at section membership growth and engagement. So how do we engage our membership? How do we our members, and how do we ensure that we grow? And please, I know we have a very diverse makeup in the sections because some sections are bigger than others. So we want to learn from the big ones and share ideas across the sections. And then we'll look on the second one. We'll look at financing chapter programs. So Syndicate 2 will be for financing section chapter program. So if you have Syndicate 2, if you have number 2, no, I mean, sorry, section programs, I meant. It's supposed to be section programs. Sorry about that. Section programs. So, and then the third one will be due diligence and due process and diligence in section administration. So again, key issues and key strategies that can be proposed as an outcome of this session so that all sections can start following them up. And the last will be section leadership development. The ARD has said a lot about that. And the point is, what can we put on the table to help us move the dots in that area for our sections? So at this point, I'll just like us to quickly, if you have the number with you, just go quickly to the table that has your number on it. Materials are already on there to capture the thoughts. We'll have this is an opportunity for everybody to interact with both people from all the various sections, students as well as professionals. So let's just move to the back there, and then we'll continue to give instructions as we go. So please, everybody in the hall will be participating. Yeah. No, it will remain on the screen. Yeah.
Number one is section membership group. We are going our session. Of course, you know Bini.
So, sirs, I would like you guys to help just coordinate the discussion so that they can keep the level of.
That's for
the section you are in. Yes. I hope you have different numbers.
Kind of facility. I don't think we have a number anyway.
Any number.
Number one.
No, the tables are already there for. The numbers have the tables.
Facilitate them.
Yes, and then
someone will report out.
Yeah, someone will report out. So please, let's just quickly. Yeah, if you don't have enough chairs, you can get the chairs up there. And you can use the flip chart as well if it's better, or you can write on the table. So we have 20 minutes for this part of the program. If you can, your brief as a sex syndicate is what are the key issues affecting your section and what are the key strategies going forward that we would like to propose for each section to adopt regarding the subject that has been assigned to your table. It's up to them.
So they are supposed to profile how this
Yes.
so everybody will know.
Yes.
They will have a report out later.
Yes, they'll have a report out. So, sorry, excuse me. Hello. Do you mind joining that table? If you don't mind.
Outside 20 minutes.
Is somebody else there?
Yeah, someone in there.
No, 20 minutes, but we'll be back in 20 minutes.
Yeah.
That table is a bit scanty. And I know.
I moved to this side.
You want to join these guys?
That was my original. Okay, this is your number. And you missed it. I guess.
Sorry, excuse me. What section are you in?
103.
Do you mind joining them? They don't seem to have a lot of people. I know, but I'm trying to balance it. Or are you interested in this topic? Are you interested in this topic? I need more section officers over there. Where is O Square? We are not having a very diverse mix. Seems a lot more people are interested in this topic.
That's okay. Maybe they'll come up with good ideas.
What is
I
his
want
role?
more people to be there.
Observing? His role is to be observing, okay? So the next people come now, this is telling me, this is false, so you just tell them to be picking false.
Hello, are you here for the workshop? Ike. Yes, sir. Please, come and join table number 4. Enter. Your syndicate is started.
No, I know they're started. The syndicate.
I need you to join one of the powerful syndicates so that let me join those guys back there. But yeah. Ike, are you coming in? Please join those guys back there. Let me get the guys.
Okay, we want to just help us. We are talking about due process and diligence in sexual administration. Just help us share some of your thoughts.
So can you let me find one of these the guys that know how to use this box? I don't know how to open it. It's not working. I hope I'm not paying for this. Yes. Thank you.
That's what I was doing. That's what I was doing. That's what the SPE.
They're taking photos. Who they can snap this one? Who is taking them? Akim. Go square.
What said the suggestion that when you are doing a technical session, invite somebody along. When you are doing a demo, invite somebody along. I feel like it's very good because in the session, when I feel like it's attended, they say the board member will not attend it. If you don't attend, how do the board know you and put you for other years? They need to integrate people into the board. It's not a regular thesis that should be in the board continuously.
I think we need more board members.
This is the board member there.
That should be first.
Oh, okay. Okay, this is not still handling updated. Oh, Wilfred. There are different sessions put together. Well, this one is the board member. So the new session. This will be a capital advisor. So last I did this is a new session then. Really cool. That's the board member. This is 5 minutes gone already.
So the due process itself. So how do we achieve a due process? So what are the steps? Or what kind of diligence do we need to carry out? Because someone might say, oh, he wants to serve, volunteer, and then get there and nothing happens. So what do we need to do to make sure that people that are coming on board are people that will volunteer their time? And how do we constitute the team? What kind of process do we need to follow to constitute the team? Yes. So it's your exactly.
Because SPE is worldwide. So even while you're active in the school, it's not the school administration, different committees, activity translation, and all of that. If you have that once you are getting used to some individual roles in this section, it becomes very easy to presentations.
So are you saying that someone that wants to serve you might want to kind of say, okay, what has it done?
Do you know where the girls are taking photographs are? Which are the photographs?
Yeah.
So it's capturing.
Dancing guys. Okay, come on.
So that I cannot compare. Contributions of
Because they're going to soon resolve this.
So when we talk of section administration, so what should it be? What should come to our mind?
Leadership development.
I don't say this thing, but I'll come back. I don't know.
Okay.
Now, different out some programs on the ground, like creating.
Okay, you have some programs on the ground. Okay. So how do you have such programs?
We have to be creative. Really something that is entirely different from what we have been doing before. Because when people are used to something like 10 minutes
Exactly. So that's the question I want to ask. Can you? Because so you have to project your voice. Yeah.
Alright. As a leader or in your section, administration, or anywhere in your school, like you have to be creative.
Please, let's be sure to document our findings so that there will be a report out at some point during this workshop.
Like new, like get in contact, draw attention. Like we have something new that we need to involve people. Understand? So that we create more awareness and we have strong social platform that will make us use it. Take a shot.
Has anybody seen section operations manual before? Okay, Okay, it's really important because you have an organization and you have some bylaws, you have the way things are done. It's really important for you to have an idea because you are not going to, because if there are no rules, anything goes. But if there are rules, it's part of the diligence really. You need to be guided by something. So the first thing you need to do when you are on the board, when you are as a chapter officer, you need to familiarize yourself with the operations manager. Because there you have the officers, you have the way things should be done, you have the way accounts should be opened, you should run the accounts and all this. So it's something that we need to familiarize with because you don't want to do things that will counter the objectives of the society.
Like for a section, they're definitely going to have administrative officers, they have president, membership chairman, and the rest. I think those people that is administrative board should have certain qualities because if they're not thinking alike.
Qualities such as
Integrity, first of all, because you're working as a team, but then you're working on different parts of the command or whatever. So they should have good qualities first of all, and also the process, their roles should be made clear to them. Because if you're coming into a position and you don't know exactly what you have to do, even if it's membership that you're working on now, it will still affect the whole section. So they should have their roles clear.
So what should be the process for recruiting volunteers to come with?
Okay.
I know you're speaking after the session. You'll be speaking once we're done with this. The report out comes after your own presentations. That's the report out from these syndicates. It comes after you guys.
SPE is not just for engineers. There are some people outside there, many of them, the SPE is just for petroleum engineers. Let people be aware that SPE, you can join SPE even if you are not a petroleum engineer.
Yes.
Okay, we still have 7 minutes more. Please try to document your findings, your solutions. You think if there is suggestions, please try to document it. Way forward, please try to document it.
I understand you. Yeah. Yes. Entrepreneurship. Okay. All those ones are coming from Launch and Learn. Okay. Yeah. Okay.
Do something
Maybe you need to highlight something like a dash, kind of entrepreneurship, that kind of thing. That's what. That's right. Yeah. And that, with that you can. Yeah. Supporting what you just said. I read petroleum engineering.
Sorry, I said that. But I just wanted to say something. Okay, I wasn't here when discussion started. One of the things that we aligned about the SPE not just to bring in members, but to rotate them. You have to speak to people about the benefit that SPE is. And if you just tell somebody to have a member of SPE, you might not really.
What's in there for me?
You might not really, yes, you might not really get what you want to get. So you need to be able to sell to them the benefits that you also have received by being a member of SPE, the membership benefit. Because if I come today, if I tell me, okay, come and be a member, I say, okay, I'll be a member of SPE, but beyond that, we have people that have come and stayed only 1 year. They left because we're not able to sell the benefits. Okay. So you want to
You have 5 minutes more to go.
How do we do that? So that's what we want to do. So we need to have something in place as to how we can achieve that. Yes.
Yeah, she's actually on point though. Well, I'm just trying to support her at the same time. Yeah. I have to get to, I think I left the industry, went to the bank to understand P&L. Most of the executives, even the professionals amongst us, don't even know their P&L. They don't know accounting. And I don't have to know all the accountants of this world to know my P&L. So it is very important. Yes. To interpret the balance sheet. So it's important when I have relationship with the bank guys to even know how to talk to my bank.
Are we going to report?
Yeah, I think we'll report.
Who's going to speak for us? You? You're going to speak.
You're the chairman.
No,
not the chairman.
No, one of them will speak. You will speak for us. Yeah.
At the end of the session, we expect to see your findings. We expect to see your jottings.
How many minutes?
The way forward.
Yeah.
And we're going to talk of engagement. One thing that came to my mind, let me not quickly mention, is that SPE has been doing issue of mentorship. What I find is that a lot of young issues, there are a lot of frustration.
We need to see the issues identified in each of the group and the way forward. Please take note of this. The issues you discovered among yourself and with the way forward you expect us as a body to adapt. It's important you indicate them. Suggestions and opinions are welcome as well. It's a teamwork. We need to see the team spirit. We need to see how we tackle issues together.
It's actually seamless.
You are not enforcing.
It's seamless.
It's something you need to suggest to the people. And then it's something they put as part of their program.
Yeah.
And then because they have membership
mentoring, they do it.
Membership chairperson can now put this as part of his program into how it can be done. Because at every section, you've got a membership chairman. And you can drive it in that process. Because you see, people can come, but if they know that they come and somehow their life is better, to some extent, there's some hope. You give them some hope. They're coming here. Somebody comes in and maybe from there can maybe have a few things better for him. The next time, 10 other people are going to
discuss according to the topic given to your group.
Where there's somebody that was sharing something.
I will on engagement now.
So now we'll talk about growth. What are the goals of engagement? Yeah. So going now, how do we got the growth? How do we engagement? Now we need to now be able to engage to ensure we can achieve that growth. So yes. What are the modes? What are the things? The instruments?
Please be wrapping up. You have 2 minutes to wrap up. As a group, wrap up your issues, the way forward.
We're allowing us to think.
And please, we need somebody to report in your group. Among your group, pick somebody that represents your work. Thank you.
Something must be regarding when we were very young, and then we saw the light of tomorrow, activities in the bar, this and that. When we talk, you are attracted to.
So what are the modes? What I want to hear is, how do you think? What are the modes? How can we reach out to people? The mode of engagement. How can we reach out to them? So please, that's what I want to hear. So how?
Community efforts.
How? So community, yes. How?
When they are programs.
I want you mentioned. I want something practical.
So people say, what is it? People like this one. So So
Okay,
for them
to
to
attract
ask
people.
questions.
Then when we now do that
Work
car
for
wash,
life.
is there a way for us to be able to have people, and then we can now be able to tell them about SPE and tell them about the next activity, and then tell them, that car wash shows that way you're offering service. But is there something we can now, do and tie so that we can now
I
Then
don't
he
understand
will
the
come.
definition of engagement in this context.
engagement is how can we now engage with people
The people that you have brought.
that will be brought in? How do we engage with them? Because like in some churches, some people will say, okay, look, we organize it. Some people will do that. Some say lunch. Some say this as a mode of a way to be able to pass on this message to them. How can we do it?
When we were brought into I said, saw the light of the men and then saw their saw the never
You were given opportunity.
How?
No one says something like
They will give you assignment.
I want to know, give me practical things I want us to do. For engagement.
Prof, sir.
Okay.
For instance,
Your time is up.
Just tell us.
Your time is up. Thank you very much. It's a wonderful section. We appreciate
talking about community work.
your volunteerism. We appreciate the time you put together to identify the issues.
1 year or 2 years.
So we want each of the group to present somebody that is going to speak on behalf of your group. You just have 3 minutes to talk about your findings and the way forward.
And like
Okay, group 1.
spend 1 year and they left.
Okay.
How about our members who work in companies? How can they engage with their people?
Okay, thank you very much. We can now return back to the theater sitting style of the workshop. Besides the people finalizing the report outs, everybody else, please make your way back to where you were sitting before we broke out.
Such as
I can see the
Organizing
discussion is very interesting.
to cater for people who have non-technical background.
Perhaps we'll give it a 1 hour
those that are not
next year.
Okay, so more technical and not.
you need to give us 5 more minutes. We are not done yet.
Okay, we have been requested to give 5 more minutes for the discussion. We'll give 5 more minutes and then we'll wrap it up. 5 more minutes, please. So,
One thing is that
maybe
what do you guys will know is that generally our people
organizing
let's have one house. They are very busy people working in companies and this and that. So when we are thinking of this, let's think within the context of what they are currently doing and how we can still get them also to have time now to do all these things we want them to do. See? So these are the ways we need to do. So you have a number of, she said about car wash and things they did, right? You want to say something? Well, let him finish. After
1 or 2 people per syndicate can stay back to collate and prepare for the report out. But at the end of the last 5 minutes, we'll be expected to return back to the seating arrangement we were before so that we can continue the rest of the workshop.
Okay, fine. Yes, I've got that. Yes. Like how?
Now you have the family shows. You say you want to throw it out for us? We'll do it together.
How do we do that? In the companies, in the outside
Just
world?
like a normal section meeting. It's a program
Okay.
with your flyers.
Okay.
Doesn't matter.
These sports?
Prepare whatever they want to.
Through sports or
Some people will stay back. I was going to give them slides.
catch them young and already
then you can invite a friend to come along with some people too. Okay? All right?
You have 2 minutes.
Okay.
these are the listed for 36
To whose program?
interested in
the section.
You're coming up here.
Like,
But relation
those guys that oil business.
So we need to end. Okay. Yeah. Let's. You're going to be reporting that. So, however,
Instead about SPE, and some of them even want to join.
Because I think there's one thing
Hello,
that
guys.
he mentioned which I like, that is a way we can be able to reach out to those who are in the business but who are not technical. Because when they come to our technical meetings, they don't learn anything, so they don't come next time. That's precisely what they are saying.
That was what I was saying. I was trying to do.
Organize more non-technical programs. And that's what we can cater for.
Yeah, not the
people
idea
who are
you are maybe
somebody that will
maybe social science or those peripheral things. So
let's just get two people, one more, anybody up there.
they don't want to come next time.
Everybody else is
Because it's not for
I think we need to find
So
something
we
that,
need to also,
that we
and
have
they
in
are big
common.
portion. They are even more than us. They are even more than us.
And they want to be
Yes, you can.
We will learn from them.
You can even create maybe things to even help them in terms of doing their job, maybe telling them what to do because they
yes,
need to
I mean, we
understand.
need to add some spice to what we already do. We're all technical, we're already doing enough. Because even some technical persons don't even come. I remember a colleague of mine saying, why don't you come? He said that I do enough technical things. I don't want to go out and do more technical things.
So you are coming to the cost.
Okay.
We need them in another
I'll report you.
Okay, I think you got that.
So we have to report.
I'm going to present for us.
No, I thought you were doing it.
Yeah.
You want to do it?
Yes, you are presenting.
You want to do it together?
Two of you can stay back while everybody else
Generally,
goes
we
back.
follow the trend anyway of discussion.
Yeah, let's go. So let everybody else.
You can put it in the format that you think you can.
Yeah, present.
All right, thank you very much. Besides those preparing the report outs, can we all please return to our seats so that we can take the rest of the workshop? Thank you very much. This has been a very great and energetic discussion. We really appreciate the time you've spent providing insights and solutions. Please come back with your chairs as we seem to be running out. We've gotten... Thank you all very much. There are seats in the front, so you can just quickly come and have your seats. Thanks, Frank. Thank you all very much. Let us all have our seats. Frank, you're ready for the next one, right? Julia's presentation.
What did you people write?
Deputy chair.
The co-chair of the exhibition committee.
Well, I mean, what do you do in total?
Okay, I'm an engineer.
So, an engineer in total.
Just say she wants to. Okay.
Thank you all very much. I dare say that I think that syndicate session was a very energetic one. We budgeted 20 minutes, but we ended up spending about 35. But I think it was time really well spent. And the interaction, I hope you were able to talk to people from other sections. I hope you were able to talk to students and senior members in your section. And I hope we had that cross-learning. So as I'm preparing the report out, we will continue with the rest of the program. And hopefully the SPEI president will be here by the time we start the report out so that she can also be aware of the issues that we're having. But we'll move on to the next item on the agenda. This is a topical discussion on an area that we feel many sections can benefit from. And I would like to introduce the next speaker. She's an engineer with Total and one of our very great section officers in section 103. Ladies and gentlemen, please join me to welcome Julia Otobo. Sorry.
Thank you for bastardizing my name. Okay, I'm Julia Boto. Good afternoon, fellow section officers. Okay, I've been told to just click, 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 and it will come on. Click, click, click. Voila. Again? Perfect. So I've been told to speak on the topic we call the best practices in financial documentation and reporting. Okay, don't take the name so big now. We are not financial people, to use the word. I mean, we are not chartered accountants, we are all engineers. So, I mean, when I was first told to talk about this, I was saying, financial reporting. I'm not, okay, thank you. So, this one. This is for what? Okay. All right, thank you. Okay, so I initially didn't want to do a slide because for me, I felt we've all been bombarded with slides since some as early as Saturday. But anyway, I still ended up with a slide, but I tried to keep it very simple. So I'm going to start with this question. Sorry, I'm going back. I missed what he said. So I said, is there really a best practice? I really want this to be interactive, really. That was my real point of, because we all have different ways we do things in our sections. So the question I ask is there really a best practice for sections, financial reporting, and documentation? Do we really think there's a best practice? I would like responses, just random responses. Do we really think there's a best practice? Everybody's quiet. Are we not coming from sections? No, it's just a random response. Just a random response. Yes, no, just like that. You think so? What do you think on this side? Is it okay? It depends, right? Okay, maybe yes, maybe no, maybe it depends. Okay, so what I've done here is, I'm sure at the end of the day we'll be able to tell whether we really have a best practice. I believe the people I'm speaking to here are people of just people in sections within Nigeria. I don't know if we have anybody outside a section outside Nigeria. That is in a section outside of Nigeria. Please, if you are outside of Nigeria, can you just raise up your hand? Yes, him, I know. Who else? Okay, there's nobody else. So I assume I'm talking to section officers from sections within Nigeria. So what I've decided to do, I came up with the 4 W's. What I call the why, the when, the who, and the what. So basically, talking about the why. Why do we need to document things? Why do we need to have a best practice? What is all of this about? So the first thing I put here is for accountability. Society of Petroleum Engineers is an accountable organization, so we always want to be accountable. So the first reason why we would want to even have a best practice, why we want to even document what we do, why we want to report it, is for accountability. And also, it's so that we can have useful information for our decision making. By useful information, I mean you want to be able to see your numbers clearly. I believe each and every one of us does some bit of accounting, some bit of financial reporting within our own little spheres. You want to be able to see the numbers. Let's take, for example, you take a loan from the bank and they give you a repayment plan. You want to be clear what the numbers are, how much is leaving my pocket every day. So we need this for useful we need this useful information to be able to make decisions as a section. As well, it's for these 3 T's I call transparency, traceability, and tracking. We want to be transparent. We're not doing things in a shrouded mode. We're not doing things that are beclouded somewhere. We want, and then also we say for traceability and for tracking. You are here as a section officer today. Tomorrow you might not be there as a section officer, or for whatever reason you might need to go off. People need to be able to track what you have been doing. People need to be able to trace what you have done. Then the last point I said is for future reference. Every documentation you do, every activity that your section does, every money that you spend for different activities, you need to be able to keep it somewhere so that people can refer to it in the future. So that's what I call the why. I'm sure that when we go back to our sections and try to digest the whys, we might even come up with more bullet points than I've put here. Okay? So then I talked about the when. So when do you need this report? When do you need to do this report? So you should do this at the beginning of your board year. When you start a new board year, you have new ideas, you have new people on your board. So first of all, you want to define all the activities you want to do for the year. What and what do we want to do for the year? And then for like big sessions that really have a lot of activities, you need to be able to define these activities at the beginning of the board year. And that in itself will now determine your budget. What are you going to need financially to manage the programs for the year? So you need to do this very early on in the year. Okay? And also, I said, what is the other time you need to do it? When? Every time that you have a major or flagship program. I give you an example. In section 103, where I come from, Port Harcourt section, we're having a golf tournament for the very first time. It wasn't something we had done before. So at the beginning of the board year, we talked about it, but it was really cloudy then. We didn't know how much it was going to cost. We didn't know who we're going to need to get the money. So we needed to draw up a program, the budget and all that we would need for it, the sponsorship and everything. So when could be at the beginning of the board year, but at the beginning of the board year, you might not really be clear exactly what you want to do. So it might be around the time you want to have this major event. Okay? And then it could be on a monthly basis. It could be on a quarterly basis. Again, it depends on the section dynamics. So I put here who stroke whom. So I'll go to the first person, the first point. Responsible parties. So every of your section officers, your ex-officials, your volunteers, it's not everybody's responsibility to take care of your financial documentation and to take care of your financial reporting. So who is the responsible party for your section? You need to always define that. Is it the secretary? Is it the treasurer? Is it a delegated person? Is it an ex-official? You need to always be able to define who is going to manage your reporting, who is going to manage your documentation. So then I said whom. Sorry, I put everything. I put this in italics because as Nigerian, the council thing is really unique to Nigeria. So SPE Nigerian Council, you need to be able to send something to them every month for the monthly reporting. Okay? Then the who again is auditors. At the end of your section year, annually rather, you want to be able to, when your auditors come around, you want to be able to trace all your expenditure for the year. You want to be able to present documentation to show, okay, this is how we spent the money, this is what we use it for. It's not something, like somebody said, always pen it down, because you cannot have it all in your head, and you may not be available as at the time of the auditing. Maybe you are the delegated section officer in charge of managing this board. Maybe you are not around as at the time we need to do the audits. So you need to have already documented this information somewhere so that you can pick it. And even sometimes you might be asked questions by the auditors, which you probably might be forgetting, but you remember that we documented it somewhere. So you just go and pick it up, and it's easy. And also, the last point I put is SPE International. Okay, we might not be presenting the details to SPE International, but who knows? We could be asked certain questions from time to time. We should be able to dig up the information with a click of the finger. We do not need to go around and around calling XYZ. We should already have it in our database and should be able to present this. So that way you are not just doing a report for reporting's sake. You should always have at the back of your mind, who am I doing this for? Okay? So I went on to the what. So I've been speaking so much grammar. The what is simple. What exactly are you having in this report? What kind of report is this? So what I tried to make everything as simple. I said, it's a simple Excel template that you can export to PowerPoint, that you can export to Word, depending on what you want to report. So you could have something like the program or the activity you want to run. You should be able to have the section officer in charge, or whoever you delegate to be in charge of that particular report. You should be able to have a budget. You should have your expenditure. at the end of the day, you should be able to see, after you've done the program, you should be able to see if you have anything left from what you budgeted originally, or if you are in red from what you did. But again, like as I said, these things are not cast on stone, and this list is not final. These things are just to give us a guide, okay? We can define the truth is we do not have a standardized template today. Just like taking, for example, the monthly reporting. Before now, every section was reporting the way they felt best. But the council now standardized it and said, no, everybody reports in this format. So today, I might be a little biased because I might be taking things that are more from the way we do things in our section that for us is best practice. It's working for us, so it's considered, unquote, best practice. Lagos section might be doing something different and say it's best practice. Why? Because it works for them. But the point is, and this is what the point I really think we need to have, is something that is standardized across all the sections within Nigeria. Such that if for any reason SP International is asking for something, we should be able to give standardized reporting. That's what I'm trying to say. And then you need to also be able to show on this sheet what is sponsored. Sometimes you might get your venue sponsored, you might get, in fact, the whole program is sponsored. So you need to be able to capture things like this. And then as well, you need to have a separate template that will help you to track your sponsorship. Okay? Sometimes people pledge for your events, we are going to give you this, we are going to give you that. And we can actually lose track of it. We can get so busy, maybe with work, with family, and all of that, and we might actually lose track. So, but if we document this somewhere, we have somewhere where we have all our sponsors listed, what they've agreed to sponsor. It doesn't always have to be financially, a financial sponsorship. It could be something tangible with which they are sponsoring. So for me, I think these are just the few points I managed to put together. And I'm sure that we all also have several other points we might want to say, no, but I think we can add this, I think we can add that. Yes, it's what I would really like for us to take back. I'm pretty much done, actually. So thank you. But the point I really want us to take back is I really want us to take back the 4 W's, which is why, what, who, and when. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Julia. We'll take one question or two for Julia, if there are any or comment on the standardization or the need thereof of financial reporting in the section activities. No? Do we have one?
Yes.
Okay.
No.
Okay, so we'll take her. Then you just introduce yourself and then your question very quickly.
I'm Dr. Riako, SP Benin Session. I would have loved to see the Excel template, as to how it looks, what are the issues that are common, and people make errors that people make in reporting, that will have been talked about, and how people can go about it, not to make such mistakes. I was expecting to see something that was already on ground that we can take from here.
She wants to say the templates, something that she can work with so she can avoid mistakes. So.
Okay, unfortunately, I didn't create a link in the presentation to include it. I really should have included that, something that could, but it's something that could be sent to the section chairs of the 5 sections to say, okay, this is what we propose, and then everybody can really come up with their additions, and then we can make it better. Thank you.
Okay, one other question.
I'm Tinuke from Benin section. I want to throw the question back to you, that is there actually a best practice? And if there is, what are the policies guiding it? Thank you.
Okay, that question was meant to be for everybody else. Yes, actually, it was meant to be for everybody else. I want us to be able to come up. The point is, it's not for me to give you the answer. It's to pick everybody's brain to say, do we really have a best practice? Do we believe we have a best practice?
All right.
Good afternoon, everybody. Thanks, Julia, for a wonderful presentation. Just to add that, well, what we've tried to do, and this is for other sections to equally take note of, and because we've been doing a lot of collaborations lately with other sections. So what we've tried to do is to first ensure that the guy, the section officer who is in charge of the money is not the one that approves the money. So he cannot just wake up and give anybody money, right? And then we developed a template to say, okay, let's take, for instance, D&I workshop. You want to carry out D&I workshop, we developed a template that the workshop committee will, there's what we call cost ownership. They will own the cost. Is it competitive? I mean, for those items, because we have, really, the budget is not there. Money is not there, really. So we try to be as innovative as possible. So if you have a vendor that wants to supply item X, now the question, and we've delegated that responsibility to the program's chair. The question will be, for this very item, how many other vendors can provide the same item, and what's the cost? So you must demonstrate that cost ownership, how you've been able to reduce cost as much as possible. Now, with respect to the template you're asking about, I'm sure July will share, but there's another template from SPE International that they give us. So if you've been able to put together your financial standards where the owner of the custodian of the cash is not the one giving out the money, there's somebody who raises the requisition, somebody who goes through it and vets, and cuts down the budget as much as possible, and someone who approves, right? So if you do this for 1 year, when the template from SPE International comes, all we do is we'll fill in those templates as much as possible. So if you run your section effectively, at the end of the year, every dime you spend, you should be able to account for it. So in our own case, we use gaps. We have a method where 3 of us, so if Julia is the requisitioner and Hamzat is the first line approver, Julia's comments and Hamzat's comments must tie in. Julia cannot be saying she's raising money to buy a microphone, and Hamza is saying he's raising it to buy teacups. So those comments have to tie in, and then I will now make my comments on top of that. So when the auditor comes, he's looking at 1,000 that left the account. How did the 1,000 naira go, or what was it meant for? So at the end of the day, we'll have a summary to the last dime that was spent during the financial year. So that's another way to ensure best practices with section finances. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Round of applause, please, for Julia. Thank you so much for... A round of applause, please. Thank you. So I suppose we'll continue to look at that, and in terms of standardization across all the sections. And now I would like to invite the next speaker. He will be talking to us about making award-winning nominations. And he's of course, he's the chairman for the awards committee at this year's NICE, and also a very strong member of Section 103. Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome Dipo Ashafa.
Hello. Good afternoon, everyone. Sorry, I'm still working. As you know, we have the annual banquet tonight, so is everyone coming for that? Good. You should be there. All right, so so I'm the chair of the awards committee, and my mandate this year was to see how we do a lot of good work. I mean, look around and look at all the work that we've done. So we do a lot of good work in Nigeria, and the task is, or was for me to project all that work we're doing here to the regional and international levels. So let's see. Oh. Okay. The first thing, awareness. We do a lot of work, but it may be a Nigerian thing where we do not like to celebrate the work we do. So we get everything done, then we move on to the next thing. We do a good job here. We put together a conference here. Benin does a symposium there. I mean, we might put it in the section report, but that's it. We don't actually project the work that's being done. So you have to create that awareness that even though we've done the work, we still have to talk about it. Let's see the next one. Participation, again. So that goes beyond the awareness. So we tell you that there's a process here for you to advertise that work that you've done, but now you have to follow through. And I'll go to the third, which is quality control, because that's the one issue that plagues Nigeria. I want to nominate you for an award, or I want to nominate myself via somebody else. And I go, well, my name is Dikpo. I'm great. Give me an award. People don't go into the detail, and this is something that we looked at this year. We set up sort of like an assurance or quality control committee to look at people's nominations. And we saw that even though you had done things that would fill up 100 pages, the time and effort went into just filling up half a page, which is never good. I mean, if you're going to sell yourself, then sell yourself completely. Don't just, how they say, half-ass it. Sorry, I'm having problems with this. The last thing, once we looked at those first three things, we created the awareness, got the participation up, and put the quality control things. We said, okay, these three things are just things that individuals do. But for you to sustain, embed and sustain, you need to build a structure around that. And that's where the council chair was really helpful. We set up the We Appreciate You scheme. You'll hear more about that tonight. I think the council chair will say more. And we said, okay, well, the best thing to do is let's implement it here. So if you were here on Monday night, you see that we had the professional awards, and those professional awards were acknowledging individuals that had contributed to the advancement of SPE in Nigeria over the last year. You also have the technical awards and a membership award. So inside, we have our own internal process where we look and try and recognize people who are doing great work. First, I'll serve as a draft, so if we're doing it inside, then when the regionals and international awards open up, we know that we have a vehicle that can feed. And also, I mean, when we get the winners, obviously, if you win an award for best reservoir engineer, if you've won that at a Nigerian level, then you should be good enough to win that at a regional level and at an international level. So, exactly. So that's a process and vehicle was set in place. All right. This is the We Appreciate You thing. So to do that, we built a website, yeah? And if you look at it clearly, you would see that it's almost a replica of the SPI and the regional website. And that's what we wanted to do. We wanted to create that cyclical process where you run it through. So by the time this is happening now, and these awards will be presented today, so, and I know the regional and international awards are submitted February and March. So if you've gone through this process this year, then you'll be primed and prepped once the regional and international windows open up. Yeah. So you can go to the SPE Nigeria website and it'll take you here for more details. Now, last year, I'm not entirely sure how many people won that. I'm just going to splash through just so you can see the brevity of this. This is now on the international scale. You see, last year, I won't take credit for the membership because that's way beyond my pay grade. Those are individuals who have spent a lifetime doing work. But when we look at the professional awards, in 2016, we were at 2. This year, we're at 7. The technical, we're at 0. This year, we're at 2. When you look at the sections, and here I won't take credit because the sections did fantastic work. Last year, we had 2 sections win a gold standard award and 1 win a president's award for section excellence. This year, we have 3 win the gold standard and 2 win the president's award. This means that all 5 sections won a minimum gold standard award. So you guys, a round of applause to yourselves. And this is without us setting that process. So the way award scheme just started this year. So next year we expect further improvements. Yeah. So essentially I come back here and say you create the awareness, you get people to participate, you set up the quality control processes, and you embed the system so it keeps running without you. And that's how we did it. And that's how we hope it runs in a sustainable, unique, uniform fashion, standardizing our award delivery in Nigeria. Thank you. Questions?
Thank you.
So questions, please.
We have somebody.
Thank you. Good afternoon. My name is Ere Yala. I'd like to, if you could throw more light on the selection criteria, if you can give some more details of the quality, how you control the quality. So a lot of us would like to know the criteria.
Okay.
One would use to know that this person deserves the award. Okay. Thank you. Yeah.
Thank you.
That's top secret. Okay. So if you've looked at the nomination forms, they're pretty much standard. You know, why does this person deserve this award? Tell us about this person. I mean, it goes into details of your academic history, your professional history, your membership history. So you say what you've done at the section local level, what you've done at the country level, what you've done regionally and internationally. Yeah? So these are there, I mean, and you'd be surprised, I mean, when you go through the forms and you find people that put, if you put one sentence, knowing that you're going to be competing against the entire Nigeria first, at the bare minimum, second, the entire Africa, and then third, the world. So if you put one or two sentences in there, obviously when they're being weighed against on a relative scale, you'll be edged out. And for these processes, for the way I was not the judge. You know, we take your applications. First of all, to win an award as an SPE member, you must be a paid SPE member. So we do the background check to see if you pass that litmus test, and we pass it on to the judges. You know, and the judges have their scoring criteria. So you're not judged by one individual person. Each nominee is judged by a host of individuals. And in the end, what I saw this year is that there was a minimal standard deviation. It was almost if a candidate's average was 7, then the max score that person got amongst the judges was an 8, and the minimum maybe like a 5.5. So it was relatively close. So it shows that people are looking and judging accordingly. Does that answer your question?
Any more questions? I'll take one more.
I think the problem may be in the aspect of nomination. Somebody may just be working and doing something and not know that, oh, I need to be nominated, or the time just passed. So I don't know if there should be like an officer in charge of that to keep, you know, getting that, I don't know, that message rolling.
Yes.
You know, and then sometimes people are good and they're just like, maybe they're, just somebody nominates me, it looks like, maybe I'm not too good enough, that's why I need to be noticed. But I don't know if something else can go in that aspect, because I do a lot. People need to be nominated. In the Benin section, at least, somebody just was like an eye-opener to us to go to us, like, we're doing this, why can't we project ourselves? So we needed somebody like that to be able to, you know, put us on that platform. So what can we do about that nomination aspect?
Okay. Yes. Yeah, that's the awareness part, you know. So we have to be better at flogging this issue. We have to be better. Once, as part of our communication plan that I'm trying to put forth, we have to keep on drumming in people's heads that, look, there's this recognition scheme that's there for you to recognize yourself, your colleague at work. Because when we're talking about technical awards, we're looking for your colleagues at work or in academia to come forward and nominate people. You see someone do something great, and that's something we have to do better as a community. We have to be able to recognize other people, you know, selflessly first, because it's about service. And also, I mean, if you think you've done a good job, I wouldn't encourage you going to tell somebody, please nominate me. It's not, but you hope that the work you're doing speaks for yourself. Yeah, exactly. Now, when it comes to technical, when it comes to professional awards, you know, I would leave it to our section chairs and our council members to actually encourage that. So if Mr. Etta Agwell here sees someone doing a fantastic job in his section, then he should be someone who is pushing to get that person nominated. And that's what we tried to do this year. We first sent it out, notice for the regional and international to our section chairs. And that's why we got the great response, because they looked through, they know who's working, and they started suggesting people that, you know, that they wanted to nominate, and they went ahead to go and do that.
Hello? Okay, I don't know about the Nigeria Council Awards, but I know about the regional awards. And in fact, it's really very, very embarrassing that we had to even beg people to nominate, you know, just like what you said. It's, if you don't buy a lottery ticket, there's no way you can win the lottery. And personally, I wasn't really happy at the nominations for this year. Some people, I mean, for a particular award, you have nominating one person. For the technical awards, I was just like, what's going on? We write so many papers, share 40 papers, you know, others, and yes, to get people to nominate for technical awards, it becomes a problem. So I really don't know what you can, is it that we don't really like ourselves that we cannot nominate us, you know, each other for the award? Because the awards are there. And again, for me, I wasn't happy in the sense that I did not, for me, I mean, I'm sorry to say I did not get the right quality. But because the process is there, I have to follow the process. And I've taken it upon myself to be personally responsible for the awards for next year. Because what I saw this year was not, I was not happy at all. For example, petroleum engineering faculty, there was no nomination. Are we saying that, so what happened to all the chiefs, all the heads of petroleum engineering department in Nigeria? So we could not even nominate any of them. You know, so I really don't, we need to do better than this. Because I sit on the board and I see how nominations from North America, from Asia, and people just nominate. And here we are not nominated. So we need to do more. We really need to do more. We need to really find out. It's not a matter of having some, for example, okay, after the nominations, I put together a committee to even judge the awards. It became a problem. Ask Blaine there. We sent reminders. Can you imagine out of almost 10, only 3 responded by judging the awards? How do you reconcile that? We are doing a lot of work, but we are not recognizing each other for what we are doing. So please, we need to do more. We need to do more. We are writing so many papers. We are not, I mean, it's really, we should really do more than that, you know. So please, I beg you, next year, let's have many, many nominations so that you can have the right quality of awards, you know, to be given at the regional level. Thank you. Yes.
No, well, not really. Okay, both a question and also a comment. You know, you said something about the quality, that you were not really impressed with the quality. One thing I know is that we have very smart and very intelligent people in all over Nigeria and all over Africa. So the point is, just like that lady was saying, we know we are doing a lot. I think the number one problem is, I don't know if it's going to, maybe during a section officers workshop like this, we could have a section where people are taught how to write winning nominations or winning, so that people, when you maybe, for example, you want to nominate your colleague, you have clear understanding of what is expected of me. What am I supposed to write? I say this because I have been, when we did the Star Award committee, then I was in the committee, and I had to nominate, of course, do the voting thing and all of that, even as I've also been a section judge. And I can tell you, at the end of the day, it is packaging. The other person that is getting the award may not have done as much as you have done, but because that person knows how to coin the words, how to present it, it now looks better than you that have done so much work. But it's just similar to what I was presenting before on financial reporting and documentation. You may have done so many things on the fly. Did you document them? Did you record them somewhere? Or you want to nominate a colleague? Okay, let me say, for example, X colleague wants to nominate Y colleagues, and it comes to Y colleague and says, oh, I really want to nominate you. I think you've done a lot this board year. Okay, you did this. Do you have the information that could help me to do a good nomination for you? You don't have it. So how is that person going to do a good nomination for you? You know, I've seen that happen where people come and ask, oh, I really want to nominate this person, but I don't know what to write. So it is now you to supply those information to that person that wants to nominate you, that feels you have done a great job, but where's the information? So for me, the question I'm asking you, sir, is it possible for us to have something like that? A section where people, maybe for section officers, maybe just generally for members of the society?
That's fine. I think Blaine will also touch on that. But one thing, in fact, if you go on the website, there's a format for even preparing an award recommendation. There's a format there. You know, so once you follow that format, you should be fine. In fact, for regional awards, you don't even need too much grammar for regional awards. It's just, I don't know, maybe 300 words or 350 words. It's not really more. But the issue is we are just lazy not recommending people. So we need to really get for that. I'm sure Blaine will also highlight on that. So please, let's do more. Okay. Thank you.
Okay, so
Thank you, sir.
Let me say one thing. Yes, so yeah, it's quite right. So if you also take a look at the Nigerian website, we've done that. We've put the sample there. But one thing I can do to take further as part of, or I'll ensure whoever is doing this next, whoever is the next awards chairman, to have in their plan to have an online workshop, send out some material, because it's really there. And I'll say from experience, there were 3 people who I wanted to recommend for awards, and they sent me their CVs. So I said, hey, you're doing well, send me your CV. Then they sent me their CVs. And that's a whole nother class again on how to put together a resume and a CV. Because I took a look at it and I didn't know which way forward. I mean, if I go by the numbers, we had roughly 100 people who were identified to be nominated. We had about 30-something who actually provided nomination material that crossed the 40% mark. And obviously, we set a target in ours of 65%. So if you didn't meet that target, we wouldn't put you forward. Well, in some cases, people just went around and nominated outside the process, and that leads to the comments where we see some nomination forms that are not standard. But it's something we have to work on. I think we had a small improvement this year over the previous year, but we need to do more work to make it a giant step, not just tiptoeing. Is it okay? All right. So let me check to see. Is she okay? All right.
Thank you very much. A round of applause for Dikpo, please.
Thank you very much.
Okay, she's okay. Thanks a lot, Dikpo. And I think, like what Julia said, just paying attention to and documenting your service history, so that when the time comes for nominations, you have enough ammunition to go out there. I think that's very important. All right. We'll move on now to the syndicate report outs. I guess we have identified those who will be reporting out for our syndicates. Do we go ahead? Or do you want us to? Okay. So again, thanks to everybody for your participation during the syndicate report outs. And now I'll call on the Group 1 representative to come out and quickly share. You have 3 minutes to share with us what the key issues and the key strategies on your way forward. Please, 3 minutes, and we'll be keeping Group 2, 3, and 4. Please get ready. Very quickly, please.
For Group 3.
Can they bring this? So group one was looking at membership, development, and membership growth and engagement.
Good evening all. I am Hajara Kabir Abdul Fattah from Nile University of Nigeria, student chapter. We're here to present the section membership growth and membership, and he's Daniel from Covenant University. Well, in our group, these are what we discussed. We discussed growth and ideas that we can actually use to improve the growth and engagement of members. Some of the ideas that were highlighted were SPE's mission. First of all, you have to highlight the mission of SPE for you to be able to develop the growth of your members. Then regular activities such as technical activities, we need to engage ourselves more in technical activities. That's both for the chapters and the section. Then you should also publicize the section. Try to get information across using maybe media and all to get your section publicized. Then you should also pay courtesy visits to companies. Companies that don't know about SPE, companies that don't know much about petroleum and gas engineering, or petroleum engineering, you should introduce SPE to them and benefit. Not just companies that are not part of SPE, you understand that. So social media also, groups such as WhatsApp groups, Facebook, Twitter, Instagram ads, LinkedIn and the rest can also be a medium for you to actually send SPE information and get members, Then we also have SPE alumni. For those people that have been in SPE, such as the president and other excos of SPE, like when they're done with SPE, that doesn't mean that, okay, bye, we're gone, next people come. We need to be all there together so that we can improve the growth. Then for education, we should meet with professionals for lunch, for dinners and all, interact with them, discuss with them and see how you can improve it. Then you should also, then for non-technical business owners, people that are not in the oil and gas industry or people that are not in technical industry, you should get to inform them about SPE, enlighten them, try to see how you can work out together in order to bring them into the industry and then try to get some things from their own industry. Then we have entrepreneurship. We should also bring in entrepreneurship, mentorship, such as mentorship for students especially, and then it's also a way for you to create new members actually. Then, then you should also find a way to introduce the mentors to the students. The elder people in the industry can actually volunteer to become mentors to the lesser ones there. So for engagement, how to engage your members, these are some of the activities we discussed, like community efforts, such as community development and the rest. You can engage in that to engage your members. Then giving opportunities to serve. The ones in the higher level shouldn't be the ones to always work, or the ones in the lower level, we can always come together, do stuff together, and then members will actually enjoy that, I think. Then you should also organize non-technical and technical programs too, such as like blood donation drive, in collaboration with maybe sickle cell foundations and the rest. It's actually a charity activity. Then sports. Professionals, students, young professionals, and a lot of other people can come together, have sports and all, engage. That's another way of engagement. Then catch them young. You can also bring in your kids, little children, so that they can have interest in petroleum engineering and SPE too, and then other fields. I think that was what we discussed in.
Thank you very much.
So, any contribution or?
So I thought that was all really great. A lot of the really good points are being brought up. I think the one thing that might have been missed is talking to your coworkers, getting your coworkers to sign up for SPE memberships. You sit next to them all day. You're around them 24/7 when you're at work. And so if you ask them, are you an SPE member, and they say no, then that's your opportunity to be like, I learned through this process. I'm like, look at these articles that they have. We're working on this one problem right now, and I found this article on One Petro that can help us like solve the problems we're having. So talking to your coworkers, and then that really awkward kind of interaction that we always have with our managers, where we have to manage up, and we need to kind of direct them on the way that we would like them to go, but politely. And so if your manager isn't a member of SPE, you need to, when you do something that's a benefit from SPE, you can manage up and you can be like, oh, I found it out on SPE, you can become a member as well. And so we're forgetting about our coworkers, and you can even tie that into meeting with other non-technical business professionals, because One Petro just isn't for SPE papers. There's also papers there for geology, management and information, and all the different interdisciplinary topics that we have. Does anyone else have any feedback or questions?
Right. One other thing we mentioned was, in this current era, we always make use of emails and all these other things. But what we noticed in our panel, we raised the fact that when there's a poster, there's always this extra attention that's given to it. So we tried to say that if we could make a poster of the events we're having, and at the base of the poster, we just write, come along with a friend. I know the email, we're all trying to go green and avoid paper use, but to an extent, we could just make that little effort and then make a poster saying, we have this event, and then at the base of the poster, we'll write, come along with a friend, that kind of thing. It really helps. Then the last one, this part of the engagement we talked about, since we are also having a lot of we also have non-technical members of SPE. Under the engagement section, we made mention of organizing get-togethers and all those kind of things. We said the whole SPE thing most of the time is always technical. If we come up with an event and it's not completely technical, whereby we're having a get-together, a family hangout kind of thing, when you're sure that you're bringing your kids along, you want to put your entire contribution there. When you're sure, when your kid sees something and is like, Dad, I'd like to go for that kind of thing, and you're bringing your child along, your entire focus and attention will be there. And once he tells his friend, who is probably your colleague's son, just like that, you have another friend coming into SPE. Thank you very much.
All right, thank you very much. I'll also just really quickly like to recognize the arrival of the SPEI president. Please give a round of applause. So she'll be speaking up to us towards the end of the program. One more on this? We really don't have that much time.
Good afternoon, everyone. Just one more thing I'd like to add. I think some of us, we really don't have this the SP logo as part of our work signatures. I think that's another way to promote membership. So we should encourage ourselves to add that logo, SPU member, to our work signatures and even our personal emails. Yeah, no, just add to your signature. So when you're sending out your mail, somebody can say, oh, what's this? SPU. So you want to get more information about it.
All right, thank you very much. All right, thanks, Syndicate 1. I think you guys did justice to the topic. We'll try to document this and share it with the section so that it can be formalized. Now, group 2, please. Okay, thank you very much. You are ready? So they were looking at financing section programs. You have 3 minutes. We really don't have that much time. So please, the key issues and key strategies that you are proposing. Please.
Good afternoon, everyone. I'm Chisom Okori, Uniport, and I have Mistura with me, also reporting for Group 2. We had quite a very productive section in the Syndicate 2 group, and we made a lot of discussions concerning financing section reports. We itemized different ways in which we could make money for our sections and how to finance the various programs they have, because whether we like it or not, anytime we are gathered together, we have to spend money and we have to raise money. And the first on our list of priorities on how we could raise funds was corporate sponsorship. NICE would not have been possible without corporate sponsorship. And ATC would also not be possible without corporate sponsorship. It's our major source of revenue generation for our programs, and we have to evolve into more productive ways of how to raise funds through corporate sponsorship. We made mention of individual donations from our senior members and from members who, persons who are not SPE members, but generally like SPE because of its organization. Then and again, our character as SPE members can make somebody who is not an SPE member and somebody who don't want to be an SPE member to consistently donate to us. And some of our top managers will be like, oh, no, I have to be with my family. But if she sees the productivity, he or she might just say, oh, you're having a program. Okay, I will donate to the cost of this, and it will be a successful one. Third is local dues. Here in Nigeria, one of the discussion we had, somebody raised an issue about some of the sections actually asked their members to pay a certain stipend for the year, which is also added to, tied to other funds they generate from everywhere, and they use it to finance their program. So we can look at a very minimum amount of money where sections could add into, aside the subscription, $10 subscription for a year for the SPI International. We could also have them, and then we would have more funds to run our programs and reach out to more and more persons. Lastly, on my part, is section financing. You see, there's something about having money and not saving money. If you have money, you got to save some money up for the future. Saving is like building a tree or building a plant, just keeping a plant and just keep watching at this plant. Don't make it die, and also don't disuse it. At one point of time, you could call to it, and you could also use it at that point. So recalling some of the funds we've saved over the years could do us a lot of good. Let me allow us to speak on the other points.
Adding to what I said, fundraising activities like the car wash, which was a major source of income for some sections during the section presentation. Also, the golf tournament and other social activities out of the technical aspects we know SPE to be about. Subscriptions, like trainings. Okay, let's, using Lagos section as example, we did Excel training with a subsidized fee. So we got subscriptions from that. And SPI rebates, that's the income from the annual deals we pay for sections. Partnership and collaborations. You want to have an event, you partner with, okay, let's say hotel, for example, we can tell them to take the bill for the halls, we come in, pay for the lunch, just like beating down the price, and partnership with companies and other bodies. Wow. Okay.
So we have actually itemized various ways of doing things, and we needed an action plan. We cannot just say we know how to raise funds by method A, B, and C, and not have a very practical plan as to how we can achieve the said objective. One very important thing we need to do when we go sourcing for funds is to directly speak to people who we want to get these funds from. Adequate publicity and communication. We should not be afraid to go to the offices of these persons or to wherever we want to and make our goals and our vision clear. If not, we'll be misrepresented as any other body that wants money to do something. And we should always have a work plan and a work frame for everything we do. We should keep a plan, stick to it. If it's not working very well, we can then revise it. If not, we would be working haphazardly. And professionals, you don't want to be a member of SPE that work haphazardly.
Involvement of all stakeholders actually boils down to publicity again. We should keep people informed, let them know what we're doing. And also we should be accountable for whatever money we're spending. We should not just say because the money is coming in, we take it out the same way it's coming in. It's cut down our budget and the money will be available for all programs.
So thank you. That's how the Syndicate Group 2 could discuss.
So we'll take comments on this.
Thank you.
So I think that's all really great. You've hit almost all the points that are out there. I like the local dues ones. There's a section in Europe actually that there's a government program that allows people to donate a percentage of their monthly pay packet directly to the section because it's classified as a charity. So local support is definitely needed. I think So financing section programs, it kind of makes it seem like we have to spend money to put on section programs. But a lot of what sections can do can be done with either for free or for really low cost. If we look at the ties that the sections all have with the universities, where there's student chapters there, we know the faculty advisors, we know the department heads, we can utilize our connections with the students to see if we can get a room donated for free so that we can hold a technical event with no cost, because we're getting the room for free from the university and the university sponsoring us. And so that's what a lot of sections these days are doing. They can't afford to book out these spaces for these technical luncheons and their technical kind of workshops that they're doing. So they're going to their universities and they're working with them to get a free classroom, because at least in Europe and North America, school stops at 4 o'clock, 3:30 places. And so if you're having an event at 6 p.m., the room is open. Another key point that I really want to point out is if you're going to corporate sponsorship, it's really important that you have a relationship with that corporate sponsor, and you're going back to them and you're showing them what their funds are doing. You're giving them reports, and you're treating them like a client. So you can't just go up to someone and take their money. You have to go up to them, you have to take their money and treasure it, and then you have to go back and you have to show them the fruits of what you've been able to accomplish with that income. Because if you just take the money and run, when you come around next time, they're going to know better. You need to go back, you need to provide them with your reports, and you need to provide them with examples of how this benefited the community and how their dollars went to achieve something with your talents. So I think we always have to keep that in mind. There's a really good chapter in Austria that does this really, really well. They actually have monthly calls with their sponsors, and they tell them about everything that they're doing. So any other comments or additional feedback? Yeah?
Okay, just to add to everything that has been written down already, I actually want to also stress on the fact of the continuity. It's very important. Especially the executives, especially at the students' level, I want to stress on the fact that on the part of the integrity aspect, if you're handing over the bus to people who are not actually, do not have that integrity, who has integrity issues, they might just embezzle the money. And as for the executives, or the ESCOs, I can remember back then when I was in school, I was able to walk up to people because I had the activities were technical, what will build people up. So the activities were really, I was actually planning on SPE week. But immediately I announced what I have been as an individual back then as the SPE president to my executives. They make sure the money went down, like they shared out the money into different aspects, even without leaving anything. Then again, passion. People should, the people who involved, everyone involved, especially those who are handling the leadership aspect, has to have that passion for SPE, so that with it you can keep growing the membership strengths. You can, and then, especially again at the student level, involve your lecturers, involve the VCs, not only those working in the companies, so that these people can always support you. If not, you will not have continuity. You will see you working so hard, trying to raise up the vision of SPE, then you leave there and you see nothing is actually happening anymore. That's it. Thank you.
I also forgot to add in one quick point. You don't have to just go to the universities to get space or rooms for this. You can also go to your companies. The section members, some of them work for some really big companies, and if they'll allow you to come in and use a meeting room or even use some open space, that's another really good way to get some free space to hold technical events and DLs.
Round of applause for them, please. All right, group 3, I guess you're ready. Let's go very quickly. And group 4, please, can you just get ready and come to the front so that we can... I know these are very important and exciting topics, but let's try to keep to the allotted time and focus on the very critical issues and solutions that you have identified. Thank you very much.
Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. We were asked to look at due process and diligence in sexual administration. During our discussion, it was pretty much a little bit difficult for us to really identify some of the challenges that we have in due process and diligence in sexual administration. But we were able to come up with 2 key points. And the first one, you talk about that, right? Okay, then I will take the second.
Okay, good afternoon, everybody. My name is Timian Laifa from Afe Babalola University. Okay, so one of the issues we were able to bring out was operations manual. Now, we all know that once you become an executive or an administrator in any aspect of, it can be your section or your chapter, an operations manual is sent to you. But then we found out that most of these executives in every section, most of them, they don't really go through the manual. They don't work according to the laws and processes stated in the manual. And so the solution that we came up with is that the executive members are advised to go back to the manuals, and if they don't follow what is in the manuals, they should be sanctioned. Also, while electing new members, new executives, the manuals should be made available to them so that they would know the roles that they have to play when they come up. They should know what they have to do and also be able to show if they can actually do those things. So that if you don't let them know what they have to do, when they come up as executives, they end up messing up. So if they have the operations manual with them before they're elected, they would know what they have to do. And if the executive members actually go through the manuals, everything will be smooth and the diligence will be assured in every section.
And the second point, which we identified here as an issue, has to do with technical meetings. We all know that we are all finding ways to cut on our costs, and in meeting up with the sexual administration and programs, actually, one of the solutions we found out is that sometimes we will have planned to have like maybe 5 technical meetings in a board year, and at the end of the day, we discovered that because we don't have funds, we are only limited to doing just 1. So the solution is that we could have 2 or 3 technical sessions in a day, if possible. We will only spend maybe an additional 30 minutes or less doing those programs, and at the end of the day, we'll have 2 technical meetings all in one day. Because in doing that, we will save cost and just an additional time for everybody to meet on that day. Thank you.
All right, thank you, guys. So comments and feedback on this topic?
When I first saw this topic, I kind of just stared at it for a while and had to get some coffee. Because when you think about due process and diligence, I think that here in Nigeria especially, you guys are all doing a really excellent job of due process and due diligence. Janine and I talked after the board meeting, after the AGM yesterday, and with the passion in the room, that if you do something wrong or something isn't square, someone in that audience is going to call you out on it. You're very good for that. I feel like in Europe and North America, everyone wants to be polite and not say anything, I get on the tube in the morning and no one speaks to each other. We all just stand there. So I was really happy that Yemi stayed with you guys the entire time, because I think he's probably the best guiding light on that one. There are kind of a few things available on the website. There is a sample bylaws which kind of outlines some of the key kind of facts that you should follow. But for the most part, the election processes that are all happening across Nigeria are right at the top of the level. Some other sections and chapters kind of have a bit more of a gray area when it comes to elections, but here everything is top notch.
So no rigging, no corruption. Absolutely wonderful.
Thank you.
Any more comments on this topic before we move on to the next one?
Good afternoon, all. My name is Javier Pedro. I'm from Section 103, the membership chairman. In how to implement these bylaws and operating manuals for the next set of people, it's always never easy to read, even if you're a professor. I don't like to read. Even when I do my work, it's a lot of times difficult for me to reread. However, if you want to help the next set of people, it's also what SPI should consider. You could have simple questions that you will ensure that anybody coming into office will have to answer. In other words, before your tenure starts or you get any certification from SPA, you will have to go online, answer a few questions that have to do with the bylaws and the operating manual. Because you'll be challenged to do this, you will have the motivation to read, and I think this is the way to go forward in order to ensure that officers and personnel are acquainted with what they ought to do. That's my contribution.
Yeah, that's actually some really good feedback. So in terms of bylaws and in terms of the way that sections and chapters operate, SPEI is very hands-off when it comes to those processes. So if you're looking at kind of creating those kind of agreements within your own sections, you're absolutely free to do so to make sure that your next board will be up to the standard that you're required them to be. So I guess a lot of it also comes down to just providing documentation and providing meeting minutes and ideas and having a catalog of all the information that you've acquired throughout the time as a section. But if you want to really test those next people coming through, it's within your entire ability as a section to like really make sure and hold those next people accountable by making them agree to those questions, you know, even before the election process. If they want to be nominated for this position, they have to agree to everything before they're even added to the ballot or even considered for the next stage.
All right, thank you very much. Round of applause for group 3. And the final group, very quickly please, we'll be looking at section leadership and development. Section leadership development, sorry.
Hello everyone, my name is Odunwayo Oladuba and I have with me Dr. Timi. For our group, we were asked to look at the issues with section leadership development and recommend way forward. And in the group, we have students, chapters members, and professionals from sections. First, we identified that in both our student community and at section level, all section members are potential leaders, but very few are effective leaders. So all the issues that we discussed centered on first, availability of potential leaders to take leadership positions. Then secondly, effectiveness of willing and existing leaders. And availability of leadership succession plan. Now for the availability of potential leaders, when we asked the why question, the responses we got, I'll just say some of them. In my group, we said why leaders are not available. We identified that it is difficult for most professionals to strike the balance between work and volunteer or SPE activities. Even in the student community, the students, they identified that it is difficult for them to strike the balance between the school curriculum and SPE activities. Then some of the students said that there are restrictions in some private university in Nigeria to allow their students to go attend section programs outside the school. Then for effectiveness of willing or existing leaders, the issues identified, one, in most sections, although they organized leadership programs, but there are no concrete leadership development plan, or there are no regular leadership development programs such as SOW at NAIS or ATC. SOW is an annual event that whenever you come for NAIS, you have opportunity to be in a forum like this and learn skills on how to develop your leadership skills. So we found that in most sections or student chapters, there are no such programs. Then lack of fund was also identified as a reason why those programs are not being organized at various sections. Then very interestingly, as some of the students said, non-performance of the existing, some persons interested in leadership positions. That some persons are interested in leadership positions just for the titles, not to serve. So when they get there, they don't perform. Okay, those were the issues. Then no succession plans. Then we brainstormed and recommended way forward for student chapters and for sections. And the first point we have on the way forward is that we recommend that our sections should incorporate regular development programs in their section program. Annually, it should be regular. You should have a forum where every intending leaders in your section, in your school, should have the opportunity to develop their leadership skills. Then, secondly, we should create volunteer opportunities. Create the opportunities for people to come serve and also develop themselves. Then we need to encourage and sponsor intending leaders to attend student section officers workshop at NAIS. These are forums for them to develop their leadership skills. Then for lack of funds to address it, maybe we're looking at paying people to come and give us trainings. We can identify volunteer speakers from amongst our members, people that are already better or good at making presentation, or good speakers amongst us. We can get volunteer speakers to train intending volunteers or intending leaders on identified skills, communication skills, presentation skills, even technical paper writing skills. Okay, those are a few points that we identified as a way forward. So I'll just allow my team member to add more to the point.
We also looked at the leadership in place. At every position, or whoever is an officer occupying a particular position should have a succession plan. Should know who would take over from him or her, and then begin to train such a person, And then we looked at having that push. We can identify people around. Many people are members but are not very active. We can go forward, identify that this person is good at this and that, and push the person out, pull the person out, and encourage such a person to get involved in volunteering. Like I would say I'm a newbie, I've been an SPE member for many years. Back, I think I started with the London chapter. And I wasn't really doing anything because I was more into toxicology and chemistry and all that. So I just knew I was an SPE member and that. And then when I came into Nigeria and started working in NPDC, I just got friends to say, you've been a member. I said, yes, I've got a membership card. I've got a number. That's what I knew. That's what I could offer. I said, doctor, you can help us with ALPs. Just go to school. I said, yes, I love doing that. And then say, we've got a school arranged for you. Oh, that's simple. I don't even need to look for a school. You've got a school arranged for me. And my good friend, just opened ways for me. I just loved going to school. So that's how I started, And gradually, they said, doctor, you can come talk to us about training these students on writing papers and all that. So, that's another good opportunity. So I was always available. I just needed somebody to give me that push. And I loved it, And then I started doing it. And then with this new type of we getting a new board, and he walked into my office and said, Doc, it's like you're going to take a position, but I know maybe your church will not allow you. You are too involved in church. he said that, and when he went away and left my office, I said, yeah, I think I can do that. I think I can help do. I've been doing things. Why don't I, I think I can help serve in this capacity, any capacity. And so the AGM, I just walked in. I was even very late in the AGM we were having. I just strolled in. And then I just heard, we now nominate Dr. Oriako to help us with as an assistant scholarship chair and all that. And gladly took it. And so I'm a newbie in. It was their push. I was just there. That's how we have a lot of staff around. Many of them, you hear stories of, I've been there, I was the chairman in the 80s, in the 90s, we were there, we started this thing in this company, and they just feel left out. And we hear those things. We can go say, Oga, you can do this. Oga, help us with that. Before you know it, we tell them, and they're encouraged. So I'm one of those persons that were encouraged into leadership roles. So let's do that. Leadership is very strategic. We need to put somebody there who can pick people out, pull people out, and say, do this. They can do it. For them to be in big companies like this, they have these potentials in them. Let's pick them out and give them the way. Open up the way. I will see a lot of people rising up to leadership opportunities. So that's what we have.
I don't think there's anything more I can add to that. I think we can all say that the leadership that comes out of the Nigerian Council and the Nigerian sections is some of the strongest in SPE. So I never thought about applying a leadership development plan to a non-for-profit section, but I think it works, and you can do it, and you're able to do it, and then let's forge ahead and let's do something new and creative.
Thank you.
Any additional comments on this before?
Comments?
All right, I guess indeed SPE is about leadership, and we do that. That's what we do every day. So a round of applause again for all the syndicates, please. Thank you very much. Can we have the agenda on the board, please? So we'll move on to the section. We're getting close to the end of the workshop. Now we're going to call on the section leaders from each of the sections to share with us very quickly what worked for them in 2017 and perhaps what are we looking forward to in the next year. So I'll be calling on the section chairman from the outgoing section chairman from section 103, Eta Agbo, to kick it off. Round of applause, please.
SPE. So quickly, what worked for Port Harcourt this year was very simple. When we came in, we took a look at how far we've come as a section, and we all know that, the times we are is actually the time of boom and bust. We all know the financial challenges, and because of that, it was impacting on the delivery of our technical programs specifically. So we sat down as a group, we had a strategy session. And basically we wanted to look at, a 3-year aspiration, a 3-year forecast. How are we going to reposition the section in the next 3 years? So we came up with a budgetary framework, a template. First, we look at the flagship programs. What are our key flagship programs for the year? And how much it cost us to deliver those programs. And then we fashioned our budget around those flagship programs. So that means that however the scenario turns out to be, we're able to deliver in the very minimum the flagship programs for the year. And what are our flagship programs? The technical meetings, technical sessions, the various students' activities, the training activities that we subsidize as a section to ensure that members get training on basic petroleum engineering or oil and gas related topical issues. Then we revived our SPE Cares initiatives, right? So before now, we used to rely on member support, member donation to be able to carry out that. But, we said this time around, we'll continue going out to the street to do something. So it's a two-pronged approach. So there's a community care initiative in it. We go out, offer service in the community, and in return for that service, we generate money for for any SPE care initiatives we want to promote for the year. So for this year, we continued the car wash initiative and we're able to raise money, in support of our SPE care initiative. So that was one part of it. So when we had our strategy, right, so we had a work plan. We had a working document, for lack of a better word to call it, and that formed the basis of implementation of our programs going forward. We did something else. We found out that we had a teeming population of young professionals who were ready to volunteer for the section, right? So in ensuring that we give them an opportunity to fulfill their volunteerism aspirations, we expanded the board, right? We expanded the board and created more rules in the board. So that way we're able to, bend over backward, we synchronize, we allowed them to think on their own, we synchronize the activities with that of the board, and it was easy for us to carry out a lot more activities than, we normally carry out in the past. And then in the technical bit, where we do our monthly technical programs, we had challenges. And the key cost element, really, in our technical event is access to a venue, right, to carry out the technical event. That's really the key cost element. We can, find a way around the social hour, but we need to pay heavily to have a venue. So what we did going forward, in addition to going out, around the city, because in time past, we used to, like Blaine mentioned, we used to go to companies, right, to use their facilities, for free, especially during the off-peak period. But because of some other challenges, that's no more possible. So what we did is we tried to, go into collaboration with event centers or hotels that have facilities for meetings. So in addition, in return for putting out their name there as, sponsors for this event, they subsidize the rate of the meeting rooms for us to use. And then, so in addition to that, instead of carrying out one event in a venue, we now batch more than one event at a time. So that way we're able to reduce cost and then still deliver the technical value to the members, right? What we could do better is to ensure for us, especially in Section 103, we want to reach out more to the students, really. Because our students are not, we're located in about, we've been able to delineate our students into 4 zones, right? And each of these, you need to do like 2-3 hours travels to get to a student chapter. So what we want to do going forward is to ensure that the student chapters who are far-flung, to ensure that our presence as a section is felt in those student chapters. So for the incoming board year, because the strategy is the same, it's a 3-year strategy, and that strategy was formulated by the board year, and as we're going to transform into the next board year, we're not expecting so much difference, so that we're going to stay with the same strategy. We want to be able to batch activities. So if you take a zone like Enugu zone, for instance, we have Institute of Management Technology, we have Enugu State University. So there's no need for us to travel all the way to Enugu just for one chapter. So we'll be able to synchronize the activities of those sections such that when we go there, we batch the activities and we're able to attend both at a time. That way we'll save costs, we'll save travel time, we have less HSE exposure, and then we'll be able to add value to the students. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much. I think that the idea of batching activities is a very strong one, and I think I hope we're all taking notes and learning from the intelligent and very brilliant ideas that are coming out of these sections. I'll call on the section chair, the outgoing section chairman for Warri section, Mr. Diana Lagboni, to give us what has worked and what are we looking forward to in 2018, please.
Thank you. Thank you so much. I appreciate this wonderful opportunity given to me. Sorry for coming late. Actually, I'm sharing the technical section up there before coming to this way. It's okay. For section 104, I'm Daniel Agbone, outgoing section chairman, section 104 Warri. It has been a wonderful and tremendous time with us in the section 104 because what we do when we came in was really tremendous, and it has really flows in that direction of having a value to our members in Section 104 and those that even not within the section. As I go further, you begin to appreciate what I'm trying to pass across to us. When we came in, we discovered that the section in membership, which I need to dwell so much, the membership was as not something you can really appreciate, not something you can really do it. But when we came in, we introduced what we call this POS system in order to encourage members to pay in their membership instead of trying to come to the secretariat. And for those of our members that actually they've left due to company relocation to other places as a result of insecurity in Niger Delta, especially in Warri areas at that time. So we introduced this POS and GAP system in order to make sure that financial transactions and membership drive actually a key. And what do? We make sure that we enlighten as many as possible that may not even know that Section 104 even exists in Warri, because they felt since the IOCs have left to Port Harcourt and even located to Lagos, they felt SPE Section 104 doesn't exist again. But what we do, we begin to go down to some of these services companies that are, so small that you might not even take recognition. We went there and we begin to, let them know that SPE Section 104C exists. Yeah, and surprisingly to us, our membership drive begin to increase, and you can see that even when we submit our annual reports, and that's really is a plus for us, because we made them to understand that there is a SPE Section 104 existing, and it shoot up our membership tremendously. And when we also go for our ALP and Energy for Me, we got some feedback from schools, especially the students. Some of them we said, I'm not an engineer, or I'm not a petroleum engineer, I don't read, so therefore it's not really meant for me. But we're enlightening them the more. They say, no, it's not really particular to you must be a petroleum engineer before you become an SPE member. So that enlightenment actually went on to various institutions that are affiliated to the Section 104 that we have, and that really helped us. And there's a very strong collaboration and very strong relationship between the Section 104 and the chapter, because we made them to understand, they see us as their friends, their colleagues. They should not look at us as there's a barrier, because over time we discovered that students find it difficult, chapter find it difficult to get closer to the section. But in our own time, they are so close to us, and that we're able to establish over time. And again, most of our program that we run, because of the situation that happens in Section 104, we run most of our programs on zero budget. Donation from individuals, donation from ESCOs, and all the programs that we run was on zero budget, and that's really helped us a lot. When we look at it, we say, okay, what can we do different than what they've been doing before now? Because we need to do something different. We have found ourselves in this situation. We got to move forward. And what we do, we decide to scale everything down, and we run everything on zero budget. We go to prisons, we bring our individual donation, and we visit our prisons. We do other community services, washing of cars, environmental sanitations, in collaboration with the local government, and so on and so forth. And people begin to say, who are this group of people? Say, these are SP, and they begin to know us the more. You see? Again, I want you to also understand that for 2011, 2015, back to back, Section 104, I've carried the award of Best Section Award over the world, in the world, and it's back to back for 5 times. But if you look at that, for last year we dropped last year, but this year we picked up again, because the 2017 Gold Standard Award We want that one again. You see that we are picking up. Section 104 is very, very unique. And we have done so much, so much. We have our low lights, our challenge. And one of the challenges is DL. The DL that we want to have for this our board here, you see, was cancelled due to logistics. And that did not sound good for us at all. Please, is there any way those concerned can help us in that regard? We really appreciate very well. Again, we want to appreciate SPI and the SPE Nigerian Council for the e-membership. That also helped us a lot because the price was reduced. And it makes us to make sure that enable Section 104 to have increase in membership. I want to appreciate SPI and SPE Nigerian Council for that. Thank you so much.
Thank you very much. Moving on very quickly, I'll call on the community chairman for Lagos section, Tokpe Adeyemi, please.
Okay. Yes, good afternoon. Ahima is not here, so I'll speak real quick on what I observed worked well. I was community chair this outgoing year. One thing that worked for us was we had a very energetic board. Everybody who had a lot of passion to do a lot of the events. A lot of them had been, this was my first time being on the board of SPE or doing anything with SPE, but most of them had done it a couple of times. So there was a lot of energy and a lot of passion behind it. We also looked at beginning of the year, we all had KPIs, like we have in our companies, KPIs for each chair as to what they would achieve. That worked because everybody had a set target of what they wanted to get before the end of the year. In terms of how we work together, we also looked at gaps in what we've typically done. So there are the regular SPE events that we do, but then we also look for things that hadn't been done that we thought we could key into. So we did a lot more when it comes to environment, cleanup, things like that. There's a lot of traffic in Lagos, so we knew that that's a place for us to tap in. We went and we assisted the traffic police with controlling traffic at a major intersection. For charity, we looked at, usually what happens with charity is that we go and we give what we feel the charity needs, whether it's food or clothing or whatever. But what we changed this year was that we went to meet them and we asked them, what do you need? So instead of just a fit-for-purpose approach to it, we were giving them what they actually felt they needed. So we found that a lot of them didn't actually want you to bring food. A lot of them wanted either school fees to be paid or they wanted some beds to be fixed or things like that. That's what we picked on. So we had a really energetic board, people full of passion. The few things that didn't work for us were, well, with the energetic people, a few people, so because people were very energetic and passionate about it, sometimes people might feel like they're not carried along. So we needed to make sure that at every point, we needed to make sure that while you're passionate about what you want to do and you have a vision for what you want to do, you need to make sure that the entire team is carried along. And then sometimes also because of, the awards and, number of ALPs or number of different things, sometimes some people are more focused on the numbers versus the impact. So because of the misalignment in priorities, we had some of that. But in the major thing that worked for us, yes, was the fact that we did have an energetic board and we had targets and goals set beginning of the year.
Thank you very much. Round of applause for her. All right. The incoming programs chair and outgoing membership chair for the Benin section, Oladuba Odunayo, please come forward. Let's give them a round of applause. These guys have worked a lot for the whole year.
Thank you very
2
much.
minutes, please.
All right, for the Benin section, first let me re-announce, because we've been told before, let me re-announce that we won the SPE President Award for Excellence this year. And if you were here last night at the AGM, you also would have heard that the Vice Council Chair recognized the Benin section for the very befitting symposium that we organized this year, which was the first of its kind from any section in Nigeria. So that means there is something possibly that we are doing correctly. So first, I would like to tell you how we handle our membership drive. I'm the outgoing membership chair. So for the membership drive, we're able to retain and even exceed our membership retention and growth. What we do, apart from doing bulk payment for our members, we do bulk solicitation for support from our members, the various companies that they belong to. So for instance, for section members that are staff of NPDC, we write for NPDC to sponsor their membership fee renewal. So with that, we're able to get our members to renew their membership every year in bulk. Okay, that has helped us to grow in our membership drive. Then for our, we have a challenge. The challenge is sponsor. It used to be sponsorship, because we only have MPDC and IDSL in Benin as full-blown oil and gas company. Because of that challenge, what we did is to make sure that we impress our sponsors by doing very well to win awards, so that they will be impressed to sponsor us. Okay, so now we don't really see sponsorship as a challenge because of how well we are doing. Okay, the FOPES, which is the symposium that we organized, was we tried to put our best as section officers, and we do that through involvement. Okay, we encourage our members to participate. We give the platform for people to serve, and we encourage that we don't just leave the running of our section activities to just the section members. We encourage everyone to be involved. So inclusiveness in running section programs is one of the strategies that we use. Okay, then we also use subcommittees. So we organize programs. We don't leave it at just the committee. So we allow subcommittees, several other committees, to come under the organization of those programs. So that has also helped us. In addition to that is awareness. We try to make SPE very visible in Benin environs. How do we do that? Like during the Children's Day celebration, we were fully represented at the stadium to celebrate with the children. SPE was publicized. So we try to create awareness for XP to be very, very visible in Benin. And lastly, we also try to, through the SP Cares initiative, we also established that in Benin to care for our members, identify with them when they are celebrating at their own personal program. So we try to identify with them so that they also give back to SPE when we call for their attention. Thank you very much.
A round of applause for Benin, please.
Thank you.
Thank you very much. Finally, I'll call on the programs chair for Abuja section. The incoming section chairman, for Abuja section, Mr. Ere Iyala.
Good afternoon, the SPI chairman and senior members here present, colleagues. My name is Ere Yala. I'll just give an outline of the challenges we had and how we solved them, and going forward what we need to do to make SPE better. Abuja is not an operating area, so we don't have operating companies that would support SPE as they would do in Port Harcourt and other oil operating areas. So we had a challenge with our technical sessions. We spend hundreds of thousands just to do one because we have to get a good place. So we had the challenge of looking for who to sponsor our individual technical sessions. But in addition to the downturn in the industry, people were not willing to give money, really. So it was a challenge. So we took the cost avoidance option. We looked for people to sponsor us in kind. So we would say, okay, give us your hall and provide food for us. So we actually managed to get PTDF. PTDF, because of that, we had few technical sessions. We couldn't really afford, but we had PTDF finally give us perpetual sponsorship. PTDF they have offered to sponsor our technical sessions perpetually with feeding and so now we have very good, they have about halls with all the facilities for presentations and everything. So now we are on our feet, so now we have to go out and work. We've done a few things. We have had a few technical sessions. We have also reached out to the IDPs, the ones, the Boko Haram victims. We're in partnership with an organization called the Victims of Violence. We have student chapters, and working along, we have only 3 student chapters, but along working with them, we found out that the students are an asset, and that's one thing we take. They have boundless energy. So going forward, we hope to use the students more. They have energy, they have drive, they have ideas. So basically, we're a young chapter, so going forward, we intend to, our weaknesses are one, we didn't use the students as much as we should. We also had membership challenges. Even though we had members, most of them were not active. So we had a situation where we had so many members on the books, but they weren't coming for meetings. So we intend to change this. First of all, we are trying to get people interested in SPE. And what we want to do is that we want to have our technical sessions will be rich. We intend to make them rich so that people will come. So we intend to have committees along with special interest groups along the SPE disciplines. So if you are in management and information, we have a committee for you. If you are in drilling, if you are in completions, we have a committee. So that everybody will have something to do. So that we don't just sit down and talk and go. So that's what we intend to do going forward. We also intend to create, we've done that, we are creating champions in every organization. So if you work in an organization, we will have 1 or 2 SPE champions. Like I'm an SPE champion in my organization. And one thing I've done is that I've gotten my management to know about SPE. I got them to, they were here. My managers were here. So when they know that, then when you ask for money or sponsorship, at least you have some, because Abuja, like I said, is a difficult area to get sponsorship. So we are going forward. I think we'll do better than we did before. Also, we need to register more student chapters. We have just 3. So going forward, I think we are targeting at least 2 more this year. And then ALPs, we didn't do much because we were young. Like I said, we were young. We were just starting off. So we expect that we would, going forward, we're working from the mission of SPE. And another area where we want to improve is in our succession planning. So we have alternates. We'll have alternates for for the key positions so that they can learn and take over us. And also performance. Like somebody said here that, yeah, and it's common. There are people that don't want to work, but at the end of the day, when it comes to being appointed as board members, they show up and want to be appointed. They are powerful people, and they do, but really don't work. So for that, we want to make sure that we have an election every year. So if you don't perform, they vote you out. So I think that's what we want to do going forward, and we hope to have a better story to tell next time. Thank you.
Thank you very much. A big round of applause for all the sections, please. All right, so we've heard from the people present here, we've heard from all the sections, and now I guess it is only appropriate that we will call on the SPEI to tell us all the solutions to all the challenges we have just that we have just pulled forward. Please welcome Blaine Horner. He will be giving us a brief on what is going on new in SPEI.
Yeah, do we have a clicker so I can work my way quickly through this? I know that we're really short for time, so I'm probably going to switch over a few things rather quickly, but be sure you will receive a detailed email from me that few of you will open and even fewer will read. Haha. Oh, no one got the joke, but everyone's smiling because they all secretly know they don't open my emails. Someone took it. Oh well. So we'll just. Is there anyone at the computer that can progress to the next slide? Perfect. So this is the Nigeria membership that's month over month for this year. As you can see, the student members are growing at an unstable rate, I would say, but it's still good. The membership numbers are trending upwards. It is down from last year, but that's to be expected. Next slide. So this is the Nigerian membership from 2007 to 2016. As you can see, it's been a nice steady and even growth within the professional membership and heading down as you would expect with this year. The student membership, though, is a little bit differently. I want to attest that to be the Nathan Meehan effect because he's so passionate. But it happened to start before his time, so we can't give him all the credit. The student membership will decrease again next year. Next slide. So this is kind of the breakdown as it is per membership. As you can see, Lego section is in the lead. Port Hardcourt is pulling up quickly behind. Next slide. So this is kind of an interesting number that few of you would have seen before. So we always report on the professional memberships that you have. We don't really tell you what types of members they are, though. So this is the digital membership breakdown, as well as the individuals who've chosen to use the dues waiver program for the 5 sections within Nigeria. So I think that's all pretty interesting. I really like the digital membership here. The Port Harcourt section is actually doing a really good job right now with the emails and promoting the e-memberships. So this one, maybe a few of you don't know about, but if your graduation date is included in your student membership, we will email you with a free coupon to renew your membership again for professional the year after graduation. So please make sure that your email address is correct and you check the email and click on the coupon. You'll receive it 30 days before and 30 days after the date that you have indicated as your graduation date within your profile. So free membership from us as our parting gift for your university career. So regional awards, we've changed the deadline for this. So they're going to open up in September this year. There's a hard close on the 1st of March. I don't know if Dippo is still in the room. He might be interested to hear about that. And there's going to be no extension. We would always extend the deadline 15 days or 30 days or 15 days to help out with everyone getting in the nominations in, but we're bringing that to a close. We're opening it up earlier. We've already talked about the kind of the regional award activities, but there's a new award coming. As you saw, the council chairman, Saka, has won the Public Service Award internationally for his commitments to more humanitarian kind of impacts in the community, and we're now including that into a regional award as well. I'll send an email about that later. So minimum requirements for chapters. I think most of you should already know about this. Minimum 25 department head and faculty advisor need to always be on file. The department head and the faculty can be the exact same person. This is different, however, I'll send an email out to all the faculty advisors in regards to this as well. But if we do not have a department head or faculty advisor by the 1st of December on your chapter, if they have lapsed, unfortunately, we will be closing the chapter down. And so I will work diligently to make sure that doesn't happen for all the students in the room. But it is very important. Regional programs. I've already talked to IK about this, but the Regional African Student Paper Contest will be happening at the Student Technical Conference in Abuja in February this year. So we will open that up as soon as possible. It was kind of ahead of our schedule, but look for abstract submissions for Student Paper Contest to open in probably September, October. Oh, and I'll just touch on this really quickly here as well. Oh, no. Up. There we go. So all winners of the Student Paper Contest will have their paper vetted regardless of whether or not they will be published. So before it was the option to submit your paper for publication, but this year we'll need to see your paper before we book your flights. Student chapters. So this is the one that I really wanted to race to and get to today. So in my reading of all the student chapters within the 4 regions I currently look after, a lot of the student chapters were requesting access to internships. They wanted to have access to the community and access to internships. And unfortunately, that is an area where SPEI doesn't have a lot of clout. But our sections are the local industry. So I am challenging all of the local sections here in Nigeria to create a program or to create support for student chapters to get internships. But I'm not talking about internships with Shell and Exxon and Total and all the big ones. I want to see the students get internships with small, local, indigenous Nigerian companies because that's where they're going to go and they're going to learn the most. They're going to learn more by being on the ground with the small companies because once you get into these large organizations, you're going to be kind of siloed within the individual section that you're working in. But if you work with an indigenous company that is doing everything and everyone's working together as a team, the students are going to learn a lot more. So we've had a lot of them here present today, or in the last few days, about the indigenous companies that are local to Nigeria and the ones that are starting up. And those are the companies that we should be approaching as a section to get them to bring on board 2 or 3 students to help them with their workload and to teach them and bring them along the way. And so just going to so all the sections I hope are listening because I think that would be a really great additional program for the Nigerian Council. And then I also got a lot of requests from the students for things like company software and textbooks. So if sections can work together to develop and give back to ChipHead and be able to provide them with funds and, no, not necessarily funds, but more with tangible goods to provide students, that would go a really long way. So professional sections, 2 of them from Nigeria requested video conferencing facilities. Unfortunately, this is something, again, that SPE is not able to provide, but we do encourage you to use free software that is out there as well as company kind of settings. And I also got a couple comments about webinars. So there are all the free webinars that are available to professional and student memberships on SPE.org that you're able to stream on demand at your time of choosing. As well, I just want to really touch on webinars quickly. If you're going to be producing or hosting a webinar within your section, it's really important that you seek permission of the DL beforehand and that you do not stream the DL outside of your section, because then you're taking away from the other section's ability to gain people to come and see that DL when they pull through their region. If you have any questions about that, you can ask me later. I'm also looking for feedback on annual reports. We do this every year internally as staff, but I want to get another kind of broader perspective about the annual reports, what you like about them, what you don't like about them, what we can add, what we can change, what we can take away. So please, all the section members and some of the students that are here, let me know. Yeah, so questions. I might regret putting my WhatsApp number up here, but I'll let it go for now. So I just absolutely blasted through that today. So if you do have any questions, let me know. I'll send out a really detailed email with some of the things that I missed over today. But yeah, if you have your questions, to save time and to allow them to set up, I'll take one or two, but then we really need to get out of the room to make sure dinner starts on time.
Okay, one question.